welcome to Bourbon Bite-Sized Learning 2. This is our first session, and we're excited to bring you some of the plated up recipes on the third Friday of each month at noon, just like we do our calendar recipes the first Friday. This is an experiment, so we truly need to hear how you all like it, what you'd like to see, what you want different. We'll do what we can. We're here to get you eating more of this good food. So,
absolutely.
And using as much fresh and local as we can in the plated up, and encourage you. We are so blessed in Bourbon County to have as many producers as we have.
Oh, absolutely.
We have a wonderful farmers market. We have other producers selling in their private businesses. We have an assortment of places to choose from, either in person or website or whatever, but we are fortunate.
We are very,
So, I'm Kay Denniston. I did not introduce myself. I am the FCS agent in Bourbon County.
And I'm Kacy Wiley. I'm the SNAP Ed assistant here in Bourbon County.
And today we're going to be making Tex Mex spaghetti squash casserole. Spaghetti squash. We've already talked about how I never heard of spaghetti squash when I was growing up.
Yeah, no, I neither.
Never saw it, never tasted it. And how do we learn to cook initially? From our parent, watching whoever was the cook in your household. So this was a new experience for me, the first time I had spaghetti squash. And we're going to share with you, maybe you're just insecure in trying it, and we're going to show how to prepare it. And
they're really easy. I mean, once you kind of know the process and kind of get it over that initial, like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? They're pretty simple.
And I think it's a fear factor, the unknown. So we're going to try to help you with that. We're also, my friend Kacy has enlightened me this morning on a different way to prepare it. Your recipe, if you pick up one of the recipes, it will talk about cutting the spaghetti squash lengthwise. And Kacy shared with me that cutting it through the depth of the vegetable is a little easier to get the
knife
seeds out
through there and stuff. So it's kind of, especially this one because it's kind of big, that's a long cut to make and kind of hold it still and stuff. So I guess it's just a little, easier. And again, it's one of those things you just kind of pick up over time.
Either way, it's going to work.
Yeah, either way.
So, but I like to try new things, so we're going to try this a little different. So we're going to cut through, first of all, what did I do first?
You washed it, right? We washed.
We have this discussion all the time in the summer over watermelons. Do you wash watermelons? You really should rinse them off, because as this knife passes through that rind, it can take anything that's on the outside down through the vegetable.
Absolutely, yes.
So
any of our fresh produce, we want to give it a little rinse before you cut it.
And you can see this is not an easy cut.
It is
so
not.
That's why I am excited to do it Kacy's way.
Oh,
okay.
There we go. Right there. And if you've never seen the inside one before, it's kind of very similar to what a pumpkin looks like on the inside, with the seeds and little stringy stuff. So we're going to scoop those seeds out.
Nothing there looks like spaghetti.
No, nothing.
Nothing. But just hold.
Yes.
Hold
Trust the process here. So it's called spaghetti squash for a reason. So if you've never seen it before, it does. So we're going to scoop those seeds out, and these are just going to go cut side down on a baking sheet into our preheated 350-degree oven. Time?
It's just 30 to 35 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes sometimes, especially depending on how ripe it is or how thick the rind is, you'll know it's done by sticking a fork in and it's tender. Now, I was waiting because I forgot to get a spoon, but we're just going to get down with the fingers.
Okay. This would be fun if you have kids at home.
They like this.
It's like scooping the goo out of a pumpkin. So, yeah, it's just similar. So just scoop those seeds out. Super easy to cook. I mean, and you're just going to throw it on the sheet pan, let it do its thing in the oven, and once it gets tender, it's...
I don't know if you can... I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but the seeds actually look like pumpkin seeds, okay? And they blend in so well with the inside of this that you might miss one or two, but after you bake them, before you put it in your casserole, you'll be able to find them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wonder if you could roast these seeds like you do a pumpkin
You
seeds.
know, good question. How do we find out? We try it. Okay. I'd say it's very similar.
I mean, they look just like a pumpkin seed.
Okay. That one is pretty clean.
You know, we could use a spoon, but sometimes your hands just work. Well, and that's one less dish you have to wash.
Okay, once the seeds are out, you just place the squash upside down on a baking sheet. I have put parchment in the bottom because, as you all know, if you watch Bourbon Bite-Sized Learning 1, I don't like to do dishes. So when we get finished, there won't be anything on here, we can throw it away. And like Kacy said, we're ready to throw this into a 350-degree oven for 35 minutes or until you can stick a fork into the peel or rind and it's easily.
All right, I'll stick this in.
Thank you. While your squash is in the oven, your spaghetti squash, we're gonna prepare the ground beef. And I've already browned the ground beef like the recipe says. And with what we're gonna add to it now is a half a cup of red bell pepper, a half a cup of onion,
Okay, yep.
and a tablespoon of garlic.
Oh.
And we're gonna blend this all together. And we're gonna cook this until the vegetables are done. The onion and the peppers, you can usually tell by the onions by look, okay, until they're done.
You just want to cook them until they're like translucent. You can see through them.
Once your vegetables have cooked, you're ready to add your seasonings. Now, this is by preference. We're following the recipe here, you know. I sometimes like to put my seasonings in while I'm cooking to get them all in there. It's got salt, and how much was it? A half a teaspoon? I mean, yeah, half a teaspoon?
A half a teaspoon of salt, yes.
Okay. And cayenne pepper, a fourth a teaspoon.
A fourth of a teaspoon,
And cumin, two teaspoons.
Yes. But this is a Tex Mex recipe, so the cayenne and cumin are very Tex Mexy like flavorings.
There we go.
Yeah. So very similar that what like you would put with like like if you were cooking tacos. Very similar seasoning.
The recipe recommends that you have all ingredients warm at the same time when you're putting the casserole. The casserole is going to be in layers, so it's nice to go ahead and prepare your squash first. So during your 35 minutes that it's baking, you can get this ready and then just keep it warm, okay? This is a great recipe. A lot of people are watching calories and watching carbs, watching different things during trying to lose weight this time
Or
of
maybe
year.
just trying to increase your vegetable consumption.
Very good, or just trying to be healthy.
Healthier,
that
right?
would be a novel
Yeah,
idea.
healthier in the new year is always a good. No matter what you do to get there, you know, anytime you can just, you know, little changes make a big difference.
And this is very low in carbs. What were
They were 11 grams of carbs for a
11
serving.
grams.
And 3 grams of fiber with this, plus 17 grams of protein. So great protein source, good source of fiber, and you're gonna get a lot of nutrients out of this with, you know, the pepper, the onion, and of course the spaghetti squash. So it's a great substitute to get some extra veggies in. You know, maybe you would have like a noodle of some sort traditionally with this kind of thing. But subbing the spaghetti squash instead of a pasta is a great way just to get some extra nutrients in.
One of the reasons we picked this recipe was we would like for you to substitute the pasta with the spaghetti squash more and see how you like it, okay?
All right, so that looks done. I think maybe we're ready to check on our spaghetti squash to see if it's ready to, and we can show you what that looks like and how we scrape it out there and create the spaghetti look.
Put it together. Our squash is ready, and you see when the fork goes into the peel or the rind and comes out easily. We're ready to take the spaghetti out of, and it is hot. Okay, I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of that or not, but you might want to use pot holders like I am in order to handle this.
Don't burn yourself.
And then we're gonna pull that, okay, this out of the way, right out of the, it's hard to work with a glove on for me.
It is. So
You get the gist
should
of it.
come out pretty easily.
It is.
Hopefully.
I'm just trying to be all professional here. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, it smells
And now you can see where the term spaghetti squash comes from, because it does look like a pile of spaghetti noodles. Look at that beautiful color.
And of course, you know Kay, she wants to get every bite.
Every bit of it out there, right? You know, we were talking, you know, spaghetti squashes, they can be a little pricey for what maybe they look like, but you do really yield a lot of produce or, you know, the inside, the veggie part from one of these.
If you'll go back in the original in watching, the size of this versus, like, that's all I expected to get out of one the first time that I fixed the spaghetti sauce, or spaghetti squash. But you're gonna get a lot out of this. But I am not gonna burn my fingers, no matter how unprofessional it looks. Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see a few
Toasty.
seeds
And there's a
hanging
seed.
out in there. We'll just scrape those. If it's
Yeah.
okay if you leave a few in there, we'll just scrape. Sometimes they're hard to see and they get in there, and that's okay. We'll just scrape those right out. Looks so amazing.
And we're ready to get the rest of it out. This is a lot of spaghetti. I mean, if you were fixing pasta, this would be a small box.
Oh, it looks so good.
Look at that. A lot of people do, speaking of just pasta, a lot of people make meat sauce and then use this as their, and put it on top and put the Parmesan cheese on it, and they're ready to roll. I think I've got just about.
Yeah, it's a very versatile vegetable. You can do lots of dishes with it. So
Now that is getting your spaghetti out of your run. It was not a very pretty process for me.
That's all right.
There's a seed.
sometimes the cooking process is not a pretty process.
Well, we
but-
don't usually do it with somebody watching us.
Yeah,
on
that's
video.
true, right. So next we're going to put this in a colander. So I've got a bowl here and a colander, just so that we can drain the extra liquid off of it.
And I don't think there's a lot on this one, but let's give it a little push with those forks. Where, yeah, there's one I thought.
And this is just, since we're making a casserole, we don't want it to be soggy, so.
Depending on how much, you know,
See the seed right there.
right there. Okay,
It's like a scavenger hunt.
there you go. It could be like, when is it that you get the king and the cake?
Oh,
that
yeah.
Whoever gets the seed gets a prize. And there's another one. Well, we have emphasized the importance of getting the seeds out prior to. I see a few more.
It's all right.
Okay, now we have everything, we're ready to put everything together. We have cooked our spaghetti squash and we have drained it.
Yes.
New experience for some. We have fixed our hamburger and then added our vegetables and then the seasoning, blended that well. We've also cut up some tomatoes and a small can of chilies. I think it was 4 ounces of chilies. Now if you've joined us on our other cooking, our Bourbon Bite-Sized Learning 1, you've heard us say many times, you adapt these to your likes and dislikes and your family likes and dislikes. You certainly could leave the chilies out if you wanted to. They do add some flavor, but suggest that you know your likes and dislikes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll put we've got our cheese. We're gonna layer these, half of this, half of this, half of this, half of this, and then repeat.
So, all right, here we go. Woo.
Let me just have this. That'll work. I don't think I can.
No.
Okay. And again, and I did spray the 9x13 pan.
And we still have our oven at 350 from when we cooked our spaghetti squash, so that we can, when this is ready to go back in the oven, it is already ready to go.
Okay, we're gonna spread this out. Okay, I'm just eyeballing half. I'm not really good at that, but you know what? The next layer will just be a little bit bigger if it's not.
It's all right.
Is that ready?
Yeah.
But we will spread it out so that each serving gets the multiple layers as best we can.
Looks so good. This smells amazing right here.
Half of our meat. All of it.
So good. All these beautiful colors and textures and flavors that are going into this. And they're just gonna blend together as they cook in the oven.
Okay. Spread those out. We'll get some chilies and tomatoes. Now, again, the tomatoes you chop as finely as you want. When we get this all put together, we'll put it in a 350 oven. Everything here is cooked. So basically we're just putting it in an oven to mix the flavors and blend.
And melt the cheese.
And melt the cheese, which is next, okay?
Yeah.
And that usually takes 15 to 20 minutes. Depending on how soon you're having supper, you can rush it a little, or I have never in my life tried to add cheese with tongs. I've always used my hands. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, that looks like about half. The other thing is you can put every spaghetti squash is not going to be the same size.
Oh, no, yeah.
So you might find this in different sizes for your family.
Yeah, and I think you could vary. Well, if like you had a small spaghetti squash, you could, probably even do this in a smaller casserole dish, or make like a 9x9, or make 2 small ones and have one now, one for later, or take one to a friend. Or I think if you liked a little bit more heat, you could easily add some chopped jalapenos to this. Or if you liked heat and your family didn't, you could add chopped jalapenos to your slice. But and with the tomatoes and chilies, I think you could add the canned jalapenos. I think would be really good.
Depending on what you like.
Right, what you like. We're not baking, so you don't have to be an exact science here. So you can kind of adapt this.
And there might be some, I can't think of anything right now that I might add to it. But other than what you just said about the jalapenos, or depending on the amount of heat that you like in your spicy foods.
Yeah, but I think it looks and sounds amazing as it is. I'm excited to get to try this one. I love spaghetti squash. We eat spaghetti squash occasionally at my house, so we like it a lot. I think this is a nice dish in the wintertime because we're kind of craving that color. Everything's so dreary and dark, and so this is just a nice fresh dish to add. Of course, it'd be great in the summertime too with some nice fresh local tomatoes and.
Oh, I can't wait for good homegrown tomatoes.
But for now, this will work. All right, so it's ready. Looks amazing, Kay.
Looks like it's ready to eat.
It does.
Which, like I said, everything in it is cooked.
Yeah.
I made a little bit of a mess, but everything in it is cooked. So we're gonna heat it up in that 350 oven for 15 to 20 minutes.
All right.
And it's done.
It's done.
Magic.
Looks
Look at
amazing.
It does look amazing.
I know.
I am ready to eat. It's noon. I don't know about you all. Actually, it's a little bit past noon. The recipe actually says it's 9 servings. I think Kacy read to me. It did not give a serving size, so depending on what you serve with it,
Right.
we didn't talk about that. You might want to do a salad. A salad would be wonderful with this.
It would.
Maybe some type of breadstick or something, but you know, depends on what you're doing. Now, it does say to use your chopped cilantro to kind of garnish it on top. Now, we all know that some people are not fond of cilantro, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, you're gonna do that. I think it smells wonderful.
It smells wonderful, and it just adds that pop of bright green to it, which I just think makes it look amazing.
I just think that's a very pretty dish. Good dish. We're gonna find out. So.
All right, we're gonna plate it up for you. Get it? Plate it up.
Plate it up. I missed that. You're so good, Kacy. So,
Oh, it looks so good.
oops. I should have let Kacy serve it. She's neater.
I think it looks so good. So amazing.
And we appreciate you joining us for our very first
Yeah.
Plated Up Bourbon Bite-Sized 2.
Yeah.
And let us know.
Yeah, make sure you stop in and get a recipe card. So you get your very own. We do have this one plus another one
We have
with
two.
spaghetti squash. In case you find that you like spaghetti squash and you want to experiment a little bit, we've got another plated up Kentucky Proud spaghetti squash recipe for you to try. So yeah, so enjoy. Please let us know what you think about us, the recipe.
Or things you want to learn to do.
Yeah.
Maybe you really enjoyed, you've never done a spaghetti
Yeah.
squash and you enjoyed watching that. Maybe you're going to try it
Yeah.
now. Maybe there's something else out there that
Yeah.
you want us to hold your
Well,
hand
and that's
while
what
you
I'm
try.
going to say. You know, this is going to be on Facebook. However, if you go to YouTube,
Yes.
we have a Bourbon County Extension Office YouTube page where all of the videos that I have made, Kay has made, we've made together, any of the videos from our office, they're on that YouTube page. So it has like a bunch of different videos that you can access and have right there. Sometimes Facebook's a little hard to try to search back and find them, but on YouTube you've got full access to all of them right there.
And plus on YouTube, what I like about it is I learned, that's how I learned to do the cheese class I did, is you can pause it, okay, until I get that step done,
Yeah.
then start it, and then
Yeah.
pause it, and you can, it's just a very helpful tool in the kitchen.
It is, absolutely.
Technology's here to stay, even with Plated Up.
So, yeah,
So come back and join us again in February,
yes.
3rd Friday at noon.
Thank you all.
Thanks.